Let's very quickly, in that case, do the Greasy Strangler, which is a feature debut from Jim Hosking. Many producers and executive producers. Ben Wheatley is an executive producer. Elijah Wood is a producer who describes it as the most disgusting, vile, and all-round grotesquely hilarious piece of cinema we'd ever read.
Right.
Which, that face that you just pulled. Okay, so basically, it comes on as a cross between Little Britain and the early pictures of John Waters. But I have to say, I think without either the inspirational wit or the genuine shock factor of either, Braden and Ronnie are basically steptoe and son who spend their days organising walking tours of LA's disco past. And then at night, the son has to cook incredibly greasy food for his father, who wants it more greasy. He demands more grease in much the same way that the egg lady in Pink Flamingos demands more eggs. And then what happens is that there is a young woman with whom they both become involved. Firstly, the son, and then the father. The son believes that his father is the Greasy Strangler, a strangler who at night goes out covered in fat and strangles people whilst covered in grease. And then goes to a car wash. The thing with the film is this. I think if it was going to work, it would need to be funnier and more genuinely shocking. If you look back at those early John Waters films, there were things about them that were genuinely appalling. I mean, genuinely appalling. And if you look at Greasy Strangler, it looks to me much too much like somebody attempting to make a cult movie. There is a certain... I mean, the soundtrack is very interesting because the soundtrack is kind of aggressively irritating and annoying in a way which is actually very well done. It's a soundtrack that almost immediately starts to grate at the inside of your skull. And actually, that was the most interesting part. The director says, I love awkwardness and singularity, and this is certainly singularly awkward. It's got, the kind of, comedy genitalia and huge amounts of grease and close-ups of grease and cooking and fat and all that sort of stuff, and it's going to some extent for a gross out, which it never quite achieved as far as I was concerned. It has that built-in midnight movie thing, which in the end I don't think you can build into a drama. So I didn't laugh, and that was a big problem. I wasn't shocked, and that was a big problem. I have to confess I was a bit bored.
Yeah. I think maybe not, is what the nation said.